Good morning and welcome to today's edition of the market. The London session open. Today is February 21st, 2020, and my name is Alejandro Zambrano. Starting later today, sorry about that, I had some things to do, cover this early morning. That's why we're starting a bit later. All right, let's not lose any time and we'll take a look at the markets. And if you're new to this presentation, it's a daily market update. We're going to take a look at the euro dollar, pound dollar, dollar yen, gold, crude oil, DAX 30 and the S&P 500 and Bitcoin. If you do have any questions, you can just put them in the chat box there and see if I can help you. This is if you're interested in trading, you want to know about some of the opportunities I am seeing in the markets. Now, why should you listen to me? Well, I've been trading since 2006 and I'm a profitable trader. Not a lot of people can say that. Since 2014, I'm making money trading the markets, and it took many, many years before I actually managed to become profitable. So hopefully I can help you a bit about attaining that as well. Okay, let's begin, and we'll begin with the euro. And from a ownership perspective, there's not too much we can do here. The idea has been to sell up here, and I'm sticking with that. And it's just better to focus on something else. Something we did focus on this week, and then the week before that was gold. Where we set a break to the February 2nd high of 1593 could take you up to your target. Well, we're almost pretty much at that target, so this was actually spot on. And this is classic breakout trading when it's at its best. When you have a breakout, price does not look back, you just go straight towards the target. A little bit like you saw in Bitcoin earlier this year when the markets just soared up. And this is when it all works great. And this is sort of the when everything is amazing. And last year, we did have some breakouts in gold, but in many of the other markets, which is the sideways markets, it was pretty much 2018 up until the end of 2019. So that's almost 2 years where breakouts were far harder to trade. But the idea is very simply, when you have these breakouts, you start to make a lot of money, and that should hopefully help you to cover for any of the bad years, because there's always bad years. And hopefully this can continue a bit longer, and I do think breakouts will continue a bit longer, and then we'll have summer in a few months in Northern Hemisphere, and at that point things can go a bit quiet again until we start to reach November, December, January, February again. Okay, so about this situation in gold then, can you trade this one? No, you can't. At least not if you're following the rules that I use, which is to buy here. And so what you're looking for a pullback if possible. And here, if anything, we're very close to the target. It's nothing bad booking some 50% of profits here right now. Now, you can always just go to the shorter time frames and look for, again, setups and stuff like that. It's always possible. But I do prefer waiting for a pullback, and we're going to have a pullback. It's much like this. This is the dollar yen. We have had an amazing little move over the last few days. We said look to buy here. We also you can buy here. The whole market just went crazy, went all the way up here. And the market is now pulling back a bit, which is fully normal, and I do think the market could come down a little bit lower. It might be that it's just going to establish itself here, but then this turns into a range, and then when we take out the high, we can probably go bullish again. Because I do think we could potentially trade a bit higher. We can maybe reach 114. And I was looking at this, and this is someone pointed this out to me. So if we look at the weekly, you're having the breakout here of, let me have a breakout here of a massive, let's do like this actually. You have a breakout here of a massive, this one actually works as a good example. Look at this thing. This is a triangle. We had the breakout here. That was your triangle pattern. This is some analysis I did in 2018. Well, what happened? We went up a bit and then we came down tumbling. We're in that situation again. That's why triangles are not really the best patterns to trade. But when they work out, again, that is what is interesting. And that is, well, that is not your target. Your target. Some people take the base, but you get some silly targets then. That, you know, you'll hold the position for like 3 years and then you reach your target. So that is your target here. The aggressive one is, of course, like that. This will be your aggressive target. But let's not get too excited. this could potentially be it. So things are starting to align itself. And what's quite interesting, the break to that trend line is also a trend line that Angeline mentioned in her 2020 trade idea for the best trade ideas for 2020. You can just download it here on the site later, or you go on quarterly market forecast, you become a member, and you can check it out. So back to the yen then. Right now it's very, very bullish. What should we be doing? We should be waiting. That's what I will be doing at least. Again, we may establish ourselves between 111.15 and this high, and if we take out the level, we might go a bit higher to maybe 114.23. That's what I would like to see. The alternative is that we have a steeper pullback, and that means that we'll be looking at this pair from around this level down here, which is the 118.83 level. As for the pound yesterday did try to trade slightly lower, but as I tried to warn you guys, it is a market that creates a lot of false moves. So I wouldn't really get too excited about this, but we did trade below the low. I know we didn't spend a lot of time there, but we're still sort of outside the boundaries of this triangle. And the idea here is that as long as it's below 130.68, then this is going to be a downtrend. And if you're really bearish, then maybe from 129.60, 130, maybe one can be bearish from here, looking for this to go lower eventually. Crude oil prices. Crude oil prices as well is doing amazingly good. We talked about this being a false move already here, and then the market went up and then it went down, and it's looking okay. The trend will remain bullish as long as you're about 50, 54, and I think from maybe the 52 level, if you're not in the position from 52 down to 50.54, I think that's where people are gonna be looking to get involved. We are literally maybe doing something like this, okay? So we went up, actually went up quite a lot, and now maybe we'll have that move. But as long as creating these higher and higher lows, there should be an uptrend. German DAX is under pressure, and it did actually spike below my trend defining level to some extent. No, I actually did. I think it did spike below that. So the idea was just to be bullish about these levels here. I adjusted this a little bit lower today. Let's just do it like that. So what you're seeing now is the market did trying to slide below. It did slide below this February 18th low, and it did slide below the February 13th low. So that effectively actually neutralized the trend here. But if you look at this today, you still have that low in place. So it looked like it spiked down and was a false move. And we're still stuck in what looks to be a bit of a rectangle. I do have my suspicions though. It looks a bit like, it starts to feel a bit like this situation here where you have these moves, and I'm not saying we're gonna come down tumbling, but if you look at some of the other markets, they're down quite a bit as well. I'm talking about the US indices, so we need to be a bit careful. But for now, I'll remain bullish above 13,564. If one was already bullish and you got stopped out yesterday, you know, mathematically it's perfectly fine to maybe try out another long position here, but mentally maybe it's better just to wait until Monday and see what happens. There's nothing wrong with waiting. People sometimes get so excited, like, oh, I missed the Tesla move, oh, I missed the Bitcoin move, oh, I missed the move in gold. There's always something moving. I'll take that back, there's not always something moving, but right now, since November last year, when stock market started trading upwards, we do have much more momentum. So you do have maybe a few more months, I think, with a lot of good trends. The thing is just to be nimble, just sort of shift from one market to another, and that's what I would be doing. Okay, let's see if you guys have any questions. I think we covered everything. The only thing I didn't cover was Bitcoin. So let's cover Bitcoin. So this is Bitcoin. I think, you know, the market's creating lower and lower highs in this market now. I was bullish, and then when the market traded below this level, I turned bearish, and then the market moved upwards, and then I turned bullish again. But it's not really working out, and it's very tricky. Seen from a longer term perspective, I mean, we're still in a bit of an uptrend, but I would be very, very careful here. You have other pairs, like if I show you Ripple to give you an idea. So Ripple has formed a head and shoulders pattern. You guys have a head, left, right shoulder, and you know, if we trade below something like 0.26, this is gonna go lower. You have other stuff as well. This is Ethereum, and Ethereum is trading double top, double bottom. So it's a nice little rectangle, and it's quite straightforward. You know, we trade to the downside, and we can go down with some $42 per coin, or we trade the upside. So if we trade the upside, I think we could potentially talk about a bit of a revival, but I suspect if you look at many of the different coins, I suspect that we could be, let me show you the weekly chart actually. I suspect that we're sort of stuck in this triangle, and this is Ethereum, and many of the other markets show some similar characteristics. So it could have been it. It could have been that this was it. I hope it's not. You know, we can always put alerts on stuff like this. Get an alert on there. Now if it goes upwards, it goes upward. I get a notification. I can focus on this again. But I do suspect it's starting. It will potentially start to consolidate. I'm really hoping I'm wrong, because cryptos are like gold, like gold right now. You just buy it and it just goes up. That is some strong moves, and that's what I really like. Or stock markets. You just buy them and you just go up. The only difference though is that stock markets, you need to wait some good 3 months, whatever, before you get that massive move. And people use leverage in stocks, but not as much. In gold, we use quite a lot of leverage here, so you can easily get that push and then you go upwards. In cryptos, you don't have to use leverage because the market will move 30-40% with no leverage anyway. But it's the speed which I like, because you buy 1 week later, 2 weeks later, you have very nice profit, or you've been stopped out. Obviously, you make sure the stop losses are smaller than your profits. So we got a question about dollar, Swiss franc versus the Japanese yen, and then the euro Aussie. And good morning to you guys as well. So let's take a look at Swissy versus the Japanese yen. Okay. All right, this is dollar versus the Japanese yen, and this is just a mold analysis here. So this is quite a sideways market you found here. You do have a bit of bullish momentum in the short term. You can clearly see how you have a relatively nice, well-defined low here. You're creating these higher and higher lows. And for example, one could have said, okay, let's buy here, stop goes here. So in this situation, when you have that very nice move, I would have just lowered the stop to like that. And then you can say, okay, what's going to happen next then? Well, if we could go down a bit, maybe we can buy a bit more if we want to. Because the whole definition of an uptrend is that whatever the next higher low, whatever next low is going to be, it's always going to be higher or equal than this low here. So as long as we don't put the stop loss exactly at the low, we put it slightly below it, then if this goes down, it should technically go upwards. So that could be something. And then you have some resistance up here. So the other side, the other thing with technical analysis, you take out one high, you go to the next high. So what's the next high? It's up here. And that could be the next target. So that's what I can say about that. Euro Aussie, let's take a look at that one. So this is the Euro Aussie, and this is just one of my pitchforks. So the Euro Aussie bottomed out nicely from this lower level here. For these sluggish moving, so there's sometimes when the market looks like this, like you have false breakouts and moves and strong declines, sometimes you can put the pitchforks and it's gonna match perfectly. You can do that as well in some other markets, but it's not always gonna make sense. Very strong markets, breakout markets, it's better to use the classical patterns. When the markets have been very sluggish, as they were from pretty much 2018 up until last year, like euro dollar, for example. This is the euro dollar, and then a channel works perfect. This is actually the chart I use for the Q1 report. So in the Q1, the market was, when I did the update for the Q1, it was in December. So I did it here, and I said as long as you trade below these levels here, we're gonna go down. And you can see this is my target. This is the target I had for the end of the first quarter, which is here. And we hit that spot on, and this channel, the first time I did this channel, I think was in July last year. That's when I recognized that this market was so ridiculously boring in a way that it was moving like some bit of a trend with a downtrend, but it's really not really following the classic rules. And that's why I have it here as well. You can see how many times the market has bounced. So the way this works, and it's not going to be too fun for you guys reading this, but the way this works is quite straightforward. This is the buy spot. And then you have this, which is the sell spot. So you would need to wait for a corrective move here if you want to stick with this rule. I cover this as well. I don't know if you know, but I do like a lot of private stuff as well. I have a set of people that I provide additional content for as well. If you are interested, just ping me via WhatsApp. And this is some part of that. So this is the idea here for us to go upwards. Now, of course, you can, if you want to, flip to a different chart. Let's actually flip something to the short term. Let me actually check this out. So this is same chart, but with nothing on it. So here as well, actually, the last major low is down here. And because that's the last major low, that's where people are going to put some stops, if anything. So you need to wait for a corrective move. If you want to just use the short-term system I use here every morning with you guys, then you're looking for a corrective move. But I think realistically here, you need to probably allow it to go down a bit more than 50%. And then maybe from here, trying to establish and go there. And the overall trend is bullish. If you look at it from this perspective, though, you know, it's very difficult to see any trends here, right? In fact, it's going sideways if you look at this one. But again, if you look at it from a pitchfork perspective, you do see an uptrend here, but it's the same chart. It's just that we're changing here. It's a different system. Okay, I hope that helped. We're gonna wrap things up. Guys, it's a Friday. Don't forget to enjoy the weekend. And I'll see you guys on Monday at 9:30 a.m. London time for the next market update. Don't forget to hit that like button. As well, I have a WhatsApp feed as well. So if you are consistently missing out, I do have a feed. Let's see if I can send it to you. And what happens is that I send out my daily, this daily video here on that feed. It's quite straightforward. You just click on that link and I get a message. I'll add you, put you to the list. Have a great day, guys. And I'll see you guys on Monday.